Good afternoon, viewers, and firstly, let me welcome you all on behalf of Insurance Institute of India to our new initiative called Vima, Vikas, Vartalap, Episode 3. And I am Dr. Ramesh Kumar Satuluri, Faculty Research from Insurance Institute of India. Recently, III launched this initiative called Vima, Vikas, Vartalap, wherein we reach out to industry leaders who would be sharing their thoughts and experiences on the overall development of the industry. Bima Vikas Vartalap is also aligned with the regulatory objective of Insurance for All by 2047. Guest for today is Mr. Sumit Rai. So good afternoon, sir, and let me welcome you to Bima Vikas Vartalap on behalf of Insurance Institute of India.
Thank you, Mr. Satuluri. Thank you so much for having me here. A pleasure to be here with III, one of the doins, or one of the founding institutions of insurance in India. So it's always a pleasure to be with III.
Thank you so much, sir. For the benefit of viewers, let me introduce you to everyone. So just a brief about Mr. Sumit Rai. Sumit Rai is currently the MD and CEO of Edelweiss Tokyo Life Insurance. Setting the strategic direction for the company, Sumit has nurtured a strong leadership team to build a multi-channel distribution network and a robust portfolio of offerings for its customers. A charismatic leader with an experience spanning over 2.5 decades, he has mentored several cross-functional teams to enhance the organizational value and growth during his tenure so far. Under Sumit's leadership, Edelweiss Tokyo Life has earned several industry recognitions, bolstered by the key mantras of customer centricity and innovation, driven by his consistent belief in delivering value for every aspect of the business. The company has achieved rapid business growth, introduced exciting products and service innovations, and truly delivered on its promise of making Zindagi Unlimited for its customers and employees. Before taking charge as MD and CEO, Sumit served as the company's Chief Distribution Officer for a brief period. Previously, as a founder team member at Max Life, Sumit played a key role with the team that created one of India's largest life insurance companies and handled multiple roles in distribution and strategy, including running and strengthening India's largest non-captive commercial bancassurance partnership. He was also associated with Bank of America and ABN AMRO Bank in the past, wherein he was instrumental in strategizing and implementing various strategic initiatives for the respective companies. So this is a brief about Mr. Sumit Rai, our guest for today. Sir, please let me know if I missed out any important point which you wanted to highlight in your corporate journey.
No, Mr. Satuluri, you've been very, very kind in your description. Certainly much more than I would have used for myself.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, then can we go ahead with our questions?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we are already in H2 and Q4. Okay, so what are the top 3 priorities for Edelweiss Tokyo Life Insurance by this year end, sir? What are you looking at?
Okay, Q4, I think most insurance companies end up with one big priority, which is business. Q4, given the seasonal nature of our business, Q4 contributes significantly to the business, and we expect pretty much the same thing for Edelweiss also. So Edelweiss Tokyo Life is looking forward to a pretty strong Q4. And what we're hoping to be able to do is to bring a lot of new customers on board through a lot of initiatives on both technology and product front. So we are in the process of currently rolling out our distribution portal, which is going to be, a one-stop shop for all our distributors, where they can get virtually anything that they need from the organization right there on the portal, on the app, rather than having to go to the office or whatsoever. And that will make life easier for them. Also, we are in the midst of launching a new product soon, and that should help our sales force get much better outcomes in Q4. It is quite a path-breaking product, and that's all that I can say at this point of time till the time we get an approval and we launch the product. And thirdly, like I said, all hands on deck at this point of time as we try and build what is likely to be the largest Q4 that Edelweiss Tokyo Life has seen in its history. So yeah, very excited and looking forward to a fantastic Q4.
Excellent, sir. Sure, sir. Sir, the other thing, companies are focusing more on organic and inorganic growth. So, what are the plans of Edelweiss Tokyo, especially in terms of, say, inorganic growth? Are you looking at any kind of acquisitions in the industry? Is there any thought like this?
So the way we see it, Mr. Satuluri, is two-pronged. I think on the organic side, there is productivity growth, which is very, very important to us. And that productivity growth is across proprietary as well as non-proprietary channels, because that is what drives efficiency and helps make the business better. On the inorganic side, again, I see the opportunity on two sides. Inorganic is also about acquiring new partners, building new kind of partners, and growing the business through that route. And secondly, as you mentioned, looking at acquisition and merger as opportunity. Our focus at this point of time is largely around acquiring partners. We are in discussions with multiple number of partners who we believe we can bring on board over the next short period of time. And so that is our big focus because that will help our organization grow quicker. On acquisitions and mergers, while there is no specific proposal at this point of time, obviously these are dependent on opportunities. If the opportunities come, we will evaluate those opportunities and see what is the right course of action to take.
I agree, sir. Absolutely. Sir, when we look at insurance business, I mean, it's a strange dichotomy that your top line not necessarily will lead to an incremental growth in bottom line. So new business always will bring in lots of business strain. So how do you balance this, the top line and bottom line as a MD and CEO? How do you look at things?
So actually, fortunately or unfortunately, when you get into the life insurance business and when you want to set up a life insurance business, it's a dichotomy that you know upfront. You know that this is going to be a long haul business. You know that you're going to take 12 to 15 years in order to break even. You know that it's going to take you a couple of 1,000 crores of capital in order to break even. So I think some of these are things which people get into the business with their eyes open. Having got in there, what do you do? Because yeah, the new business train is real, reserving pressures are real, product and product related reserving and all of that matters a lot. So what do you do in order to try and minimize the impact for this for the shareholders? I think two or three things make a big difference. What kind of a product mix do you want to sell? Can you use your products mix judiciously to reduce the new business strain? Is I think one big part, and that for a lot of new companies defines the areas in which it will play. I think the second is what I also referred to in your previous question, which is productivity. How do you quickly get to a good level of productivity that helps you alleviate your costs a little bit faster, I'm sorry. I think that is very important. And that is an area where we put in a lot of focus over the last 3 to 4 years. And, that is also the one area which is in a significant way in the control of a life insurance company, right? So there are lots of things that one can do, but a lot of those things are not in the control of one's actions, right? So I think an important focus has been for us to say, what is it that we can control? What is it that we can improve and therefore reduce rate? So product mix, productivity are two obvious things that come into play. And when you talk about productivity, for example, then multiple things come into play. How can you use technology to make productivity better? How can you leverage your products itself to make productivity better? How do you train people for better productivity? So I think those are multiple levers to pull on increasing productivity. I think a third aspect of this is cost control. How do you, even as you are increasing your business, how do you control your operating expenses? Yeah, when you are rich with capital, operating expenses have a way of running away from you, right? And you got to be very, very careful and very sharp in keeping a good look at what your operating expenses are looking like. Those are three levers that I think are very important: your operating expense, your productivity, and your product mix. And if you are able to play an optimum mix of these, then I think while it will not take away the pressure of reserving, it will not take away the pressure of new business train. I think it will help improve the curve of profitability significantly for not just Edelweiss Tokyo Life, but actually for any organization in this business, in the life insurance business.
I agree, sir. There are multiple levers which one need to focus on. And just a kind of follow-up question, sir, because the biggest change which is going to happen, regulator is particular that insurance companies adopt new Ind AS 17, accounting or
Yeah.
migrate to the IFRS accounting, and also the risk-based capital is in the offing. So how do you see your company preparing for these two crucial changes, sir?
So actually, we are very excited about these changes because we think these changes will be very beneficial for Edelweiss Tokyo Life. We have already established, specialist teams to look at the implementation of these. We are in talks with technology partners. Technology is going to play a very key role in how these get deployed in the industry. So we are working on the technology side also with some identifying some right knowledge partners who can help us deploy the right technology in this. Knowing that this was going to come down the chute in anticipation, we started working on our data strategy, our data warehouse strategy, which will help us leverage both India 17 as well as risk-based capital. So there is a lot of work that has been going on. We are pretty sure that we will be amongst the earliest people who will be able to adopt both IFRS 17 or India 17 as well as risk-based capital. As soon as IRD is ready to go ahead with it, we are participating pretty closely with IRD in these initiatives, and we have completed the first round of quantitative impact study to try and understand what our level of preparedness is and what else we need to do. So a lot of that work has been done. Like I said, I do believe that both of these initiatives are very transformative for the Indian insurance industry. These are also, I think, initiatives that will help broaden the insurance market because more people, I'm sure, will be likely to follow the path of entering the Indian markets, following these two reformative, initiatives of the authority. So, all in all, great initiative for the industry, great initiative for the country, and certainly great for the life insurance companies. And we are very, very excited about it. And we are looking to be amongst the early birds in adopting these two.
Sir. Thank you so much. And so the other thing, while we spoke little about digitization, I just want to check with you. Companies are today more focused on digitization to reach out to customers. Can you please highlight a few important initiatives of Edelweiss on technology front? Is there anything which you want to share with the viewers?
Sure. And I think you're right, Mr. Satuluri, because um I think technology has become very, very important. From being a backbone of the operations, it has gone to being the operative center of the operations. I don't think there is any part of the business which is today untouched by technology and digitization, and more specifically digitization, because we are seeing it across multiple phases. So if you look at, and I think this trend has got significantly accentuated post-COVID. COVID has created a greater awareness of what digitization can do, a greater awareness of how digitization can help build better productivity, and how digitization can help organizations improve their outputs across multiple parameters, right? So let me give you a small example. Back in COVID, when we shut down in the lockdown in March, March being quarter 4, the biggest month of the year, and so on and so forth, uh, I think a lot of us across the industry were in panic as to how this will play out. Uh, but I also believe that the human will is extremely resilient. Human beings are able to take on a lot of adversity and come out better for those adversities. And I think we saw something similar with COVID. Having spent almost 25 years in this business, I never thought I would live to see a day where you could not meet customers face to face or sit across the table with them and still be able to do sales. Yet we adapted, we were able to do things like talk to customers on Teams or Zoom. We were able to sell on those platforms, and we were able to actually utilize our time even better than we would if we were out in the field. Now, those are things that I do believe probably would not have happened had an extenuating circumstance like COVID not happened, right? Because otherwise, we are also victims of our habits. We don't like change. Human beings in general don't like change. Certainly not the kind of stark change that this brought in, of saying you can't step out. But I think in that process of COVID and everything that we saw in COVID, the fact became that if you were forward looking on your digitization, then you could, in a lot of ways, do a lot of things, even if you were not able to come to work. And that is, I think, the big realization that happened. You can do your training without having to come to work. You can do your processing without having to come to work. You can pay claims without having to come to work. You can do all of those things, right? And all of those is possible wherever there is good digitization. So I think it just made us all very aware of the possibilities of digitization in a business. So as we stand today, for example, 100% of our new business is digital. There is not a scrap of paper that gets used anywhere. Okay, every proposal is completely digital, moves through digital pipelines, get issued digitally. All policies go into the insurance repository. Customers can access their policies in the insurance repository. Uh, all our servicing now is also by and large digital. Yeah, customers choose to sometimes walk into our office and all that, but by and large they don't. By and large, they will either reach out to us through our distributors or call us on our call centers, and we try and make that entire process as seamless uh, as comfortable for them as may be possible. And so that has called for a lot of work. So we, for example, we launched a process called Bolt in our organization, and Bolt was really about saying, how can I move at least 70% of my business and issue 70% of my business within 30 minutes to a 120 minutes kind of time frame. And today, while we are not quite at 70, we are already reaching about 30% of business being issued within 30 minutes. Now, these are things that pre-COVID were not really thought of. I think the power of digitization has made some of this available. Let me give you another example. I think a big problem with life insurance is that any company will have multiple products, and sellers struggle to remember all the products and make the right recommendations to their customers. What the customer needs are and how should I recommend the product, and product should not be based on what the company wants to push or what the distributor wants to push. But product selection should be based on what is right for the customer. And so we launched a digital tool called U2. U2 basically, in a very quick 5 to 8 minute journey, checks on all the needs of a customer, the various things that the customer wants to create through a life insurance policy and through other savings over the next 10, 15, 20 years, and then generates an auto product recommendation to the customer to say, for all of these recommendations, here are the things that you can do, and this is the premium that it will charge. So it takes away, you know, it creates a uniform experience for the customer. The product recommendation will not change very significantly from one seller to the other, simply because the seller's knowledge level may be different or seller's expertise may be different. We are bringing our expertise of 13 years of knowing what customers want to the table for every single customer, right? And this is what will help the customer feel more satisfied, stay with the policy longer, hopefully give multiple businesses to that seller and therefore to us. All of those get played out. So, the themes of experience, the themes of productivity, all of that get impacted by just this one tool, right? And that, I think, is the power of digitization that is getting created, right? I think a third area where digitization is going to make a huge impact, not it's a combination of data and digitization actually, but it's in analytics. It's in using analytics to throw out various things that are important to you. For example, how do you control risk? How do you control frauds? For example, does a customer want to stay with the policy, not stay with the policy? What can we do to the customer for the customer to stay with the policy? Uh, is this the right time for a customer to buy new policy? Now look at it. If I have a need analysis that's been done through YouTube, which is completely digital, I can make an offer to the customer maybe 1 year down the line to say, this was the gap that was still left. And here is what you can do. And here is a one-click solution for you. Just click this button and we will issue you a new policy, right? So there is an amazing array of choices and digital tools that can be created to meet the customer's requirement today, right? If I just tell my distributor, listen, you have customer A, and customer A bought from you 2 years ago. Why don't you go to customer A? And here are a couple of recommendations. All that he has to do is to say yes, and you can sell, and you can also get commission for that. So all of these are very powerful. And these are all things that we are deploying. Uh, the sheer vastness of choice, the sheer impact that you can create through digitization. I don't think we've even started scratching the surface of it. I think there are lots more layers left. I think we are at the ground level of a very tall multi-story building, and that multi-story building will keep getting created. And there's a long journey, like I said, to ahead of this.
I think COVID perhaps acted like a tailwind for the entire digitization process, the way you are explaining me. Sir, a very hypothetical question to you. So, where do you see Edelweiss in the next 5 years, and what are the key focus areas next 5 years, sir?
Well, I think as far as we are concerned, we want to see a couple of things for Edelweiss. A, we want to see a very large base of very satisfied customers. Right. And what do I mean by satisfied? I mean by satisfied that can actually be measured through measures like, let's say, net promoter score, so that we know our customers are actually satisfied with what we're doing. And it's not just some nice words that we talk, but it's actually there in numbers. We want our customers to be satisfied with the choices that they make with us in terms of products and services that we offer them. We want to be the partner of choice for distributors. We do that by creating a tremendous ease of doing business. I spoke, briefly about the distributor app, and that is, let's say, one effort in how we will make this happen for a distributor. But whether an individual distributor like an agent or whether an institutional distributor like a bank, how do they all believe that Edelweiss is the right choice for them and Edelweiss is the primary choice for them when they look for partners? Is the second big goal for the next 5 years. I think the third big goal for us over the next 5 years is to improve our position and improve our scale. I didn't share it with you earlier, but we are the youngest company in the industry till IRDA issued some fresh licenses in 2023. But from 2011, when we got our license to 2023, there were no new licenses. So we are the youngest company. We were the 23rd company to get a license. We moved up significantly in the league table, but we would like to see our scale improve significantly. And so our expectation is that over the next 5 years, we should be more than 2.5 to 3 times the current size today. So those are some of the goals that we have. I think the most important goal at the end of the day are happy customers. If our customers are happy, if our customers stay with us, we should reflect in things like persistency, then I think every other goal is achievable. So to me, the single most important goal is, are our customers happy? Do they feel satisfied dealing with Edelweiss Tokyo Life? If we achieve that, I think a lot of the other more metric-driven goals are easily achievable.
Thank you. I think NPS, as rightly said by you, sir. So the other thing which always comes through my mind is about the generative AI has gained attention for its ability to create content and solutions automatically. So can you share how Edelweiss Life is exploring or utilizing generative AI to drive innovation or improve operational processes within the sector in your company in particular, sir?
So you used a very apt word. We are at a stage where we're still exploring generative AI. We are seeing what are its various use cases. Now, on the face of it, we can see multiple use cases, right? For example, I can see a tremendous use case in training. How can we use generative AI to train our people better at a significantly lower cost, right? I can similarly see a great possibility for generative AI in customer servicing and how we help make the entire experience for the customer in the servicing process significantly better. But generative AI does come with the need for training the data set and all of that. We are, like I said, exploring about where are the best use cases. We are exploring how do we train our data sets. How do we train some of these large language models on our data sets and get the best outcomes? So early days, excited about it, but I think outcomes will, show up only over a period of time.
Sure, sir. Sure. Sir, the last and the important question is regulator is very keen about insurance for all by 2047 and initiated many steps in this direction. So do you have any suggestions for the regulator to take this initiative forward? Any support which you require from the regulator perspective, sir?
Oh, I think the regulator has been extremely supportive in this whole cause of insurance for everybody by 2047. In fact, if you look at it, it is an initiative of the regulator. And there are multiple initiatives that the regulator has created, whether it is state level insurance committees, whether it is Bima Vahak, whether it is Bima Sugam. I think all of these are great new initiatives that have got created, and all of these are initiatives that will help us achieve the stated objective of reaching out to the last mile of Indian population. I think Indian insurance companies, by and large, have done a fairly good job of reaching out into the interior of the country. Having said that, I think the digital tools that are getting created now will help us reach out really deep into the country, penetrate really deep into the country at fairly economical levels of cost. And that should really drive forward the agenda of taking insurance to every Indian by 2047. The regulator has created a great platform for doing all of this by introducing Bima Sugam, for example. Bima Sugam, when fully implemented, uh, should should actually look something like the UPI of the life insurance industry, just as UPI has revolutionized the payments landscape in India. I think Bima Sugam has the power to completely transform the insurance landscape in India, whether it's in general insurance or in life insurance. Bima Vahak, which is the other scheme, which is about creating insurance carriers in every part of the country, and then supported by state level insurance plans. I think all of those things are creating a movement. We may not see the results of these movements today or even in the next 1 year, but the investments that are being made in these platforms today are going to pay dividends for this country for the next 20 years. And sometimes with some of these things we lose patience, but I think these are the classical examples of things that are an example of Malcolm Gladwell's tipping point. You get to a tipping point and then suddenly it becomes a snowball that just keeps rolling and rolling. I think we have to have the patience and the will to take it to the tipping point. And once it gets to the tipping point, I don't see an issue in insurance for everybody by insurance for every Indian by 2047. I think it's very, very achievable. And everything that the regulator is doing is actually helping take us to the tipping point from where I think it will gather unbelievable momentum.
So thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much for joining Insurance Institute of India on this initiative. Our viewers will immensely get benefited from your thoughts and experiences. We'll be keenly looking forward to connect you again on other important topic in the days to come. And thank you once again for giving us your time in your busy schedule. I know, JFM and Q4, and thank you very much, sir, for everything. Thanks a lot, sir.
Mr. Satuluri, like I said earlier, I think Insurance Institute of India has done immense work in making increasing the insurance awareness in this country, the levels of knowledge. And if the Insurance Institute of India invites me to be a speaker, there is no way that I can say no. It is always a pleasure to work with Triple I. Triple I has done more for the insurance industry than almost anybody else that I know of. So always a pleasure to come back. Any way that I can help in Triple I, would love to do so.
Thank you so much, sir. We are honored to have you on board. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you.